in Delhi Crime, I think it was one of the most sensitively written scripts that I had read in a while. And I was very moved by it the first time I read it. I also felt that I was nervous because I didn't, for two reasons. One is that I didn't know that anybody would be able to, it is a very hard narrative to pull off. And you know, there is a long journey between the written script and the visual, and very often things get lost in between, they get translated differently. So I had all those things, all those apprehensions. But Richie and I have known each other for a while, and I was very sure that he would deal with this sensitively. If it had been anybody else, I don't know if I would have signed up for the show or not.
Thin line, no, between what it can be and what it is.
Very thin line, a very tough job to pull off. And I think when I watched the show, in spite of the fact that I had been a part of it, I felt very moved by some of the choices that the editor made, the choices that the cinematographer made, the way just people were lensed, the way how long the shot was held on a particular person, and I think it just humanized a lot of people who otherwise in different narratives don't get to be viewed as humans.
Delhi Crime was one of the most finely crafted and nuanced shows from every perspective. The writing, the performances, the editing, the choice of music, and what really made it special is how it never at any given point in time, no matter what subjective view it had, like you were showing all kinds of people with all kinds of attitudes and an approach that was coming into the narrative, but the lens of the storyteller never judged these human beings, firstly and most importantly, and secondly, nothing about it ever dehumanized them.
But especially when you do a show like Delhi Crime, which is about something as gruesome as the incident was, I know a lot of people have not watched the show purely because they don't want to go through that experience. And a lot of people don't realize that it's actually not an exploitative show at all. That's the fear that people have.
No, because of the subtlety, as
exactly,
she was saying, it affects you. Like, I was depressed for so many days after I watched Delhi Crime.
Now, as a viewer, you get
that
depressed.
I actually
But as someone who's going through, has to go through it as an actor, that's hard to get out of. Because you're also doing Delhi Crime too, which means clearly you sort of...
I think also it depends on what lens, with what lens you're viewing a narrative. When I watched Delhi Crime, I was very energized by it. It didn't depress me at all. Because I was like, oh my God, this is just phenomenal. I'm seeing Shefali play a part. I'm seeing her relationship with her daughter. I'm seeing the relationship with her husband. I'm seeing her relationship with you. I'm seeing... I was like, no. This is amazing.
You know what? I remember, especially Rasika's character, the way the silence was dealt. I mean, you know, she's just traveling from here and there, and she's just inside herself, and then it grows on you. Like I can't forget her face when she's just, you know, hospital ke duty khatam karke wahan ja rahi hai, and then, you know, I had just seen this police jo jaate hain na, and then they put this water and all those things. It was so horrifying to watch her going through that, you know, wo sab pani aa raha, and then you put all those things you do, and then
the water cannons. It's becoming quite popular these days. It's happening all over.
But the blue bus is the tear gas one.
What was your toughest scene in Delhi Crime?
What was my toughest scene? No, all of it was sort of...
Is there one particular scene you can remember that
the one particular moment that I remember where you get sort of stumped yourself, and you don't realize that you will, and you always remember those moments. And I always say that, you know, if I can have even one moment like that in every project that I do, it would have been worth it for me. And the projects, most of them I've had that one special moment, and now I feel like maybe I won't have it because I'm looking for it. But I remember those moments so clearly, and I can never forget.
So which was that moment
in Delhi Crime? It was this moment where I come out, you know, दो water can के बीच में से when there are people at India Gate, and I go from the hospital there, and so I'm holding this thing to guard myself, and I come out दो trucks के बीच में से, and there's this mob which is very anti the Delhi police, very anti-police. They're shouting all these slogans, and I've just come out of the hospital, and I've been there with this girl who I've begun to care for 2.5, 3 days now, and I'm seeing how brutally she's been, how she's hurt. and my whole life is about I want to save her and I want to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and that, you know, and then I come out and I'm like, I didn't realize this was happening in the world. And that was that one moment where I just got stumped. I was like, इनको तो पता ही नहीं कि I care. You know, and I didn't realize I was feeling like that.
You became the character.
But
for the
when I
moment.
saw the mob, I was like, they don't like me, and I'm really working hard, you know. So, and that was, I didn't know what to think at that
It's
time.
incredible.
The funny thing about the visual medium, which is also extremely exciting, is that you might experience something very special. It might look like nothing on screen, and you might experience. It's not the point, and that's what I'm saying. But that's what's exciting about it.
When you were telling me about this scene, I remember.
But कभी-कभी होता है.
जैसे मैंने भी उस सीन का जिक्र किया.
कभी-कभी
When I started
होता
talking
है.
about Delhi crime, मैंने इसी सीन का जिक्र
Yeah, I
किया
know,
कि
I
मैं
know.
hospital से इधर आई.
I know, when you said that,
So
I knew
why
you were
did I
talking
say
about.
that?
No, I'm saying sometimes
तुम्हारा-
it happens. Sometimes it does translate. That thing translates, and it doesn't matter to me, honestly. Like you said, it doesn't matter. But it's exciting to me because Irfan and I had, for example, done a scene in Kissa. Jo, for the first time I had experienced something as magical as what I'm describing today, and I could not forget that thing. And मैंने सोचा कि Irfan is such a, he must have forgotten. He's done so many films after Kissa, and I had only done Kissa. I had till Manto, I didn't have much in between, and we had met at film festival subsequently. And I said, Irfan ने तो कितनी सारी फिल्में की होंगी, वो तो भूल गया होगा ना कि ये this was a special thing. But I met him at a screening once, and he said, वो सीन देखा तुमने? So I said, हाँ. He said, उस दिन कुछ special हुआ था ना?
Yeah, no, you feel it.
And I said, हाँ. And this is about 3 years after we shot the film. This is when the film was releasing in 2 theatres.
Which was that
in-
scene? The revelation scene?
No, there's a scene where he comes back absolutely at the end of the film before I jump off. I don't know if you remember.
I remember the film, yes.
And he narrates this incident to me about how he was a refugee and how he felt about it. And I get up from there and I leave his hand and I walk out and I jump. So that interaction before. And then he said, लेकिन दिखा नहीं ना वो जो
अच्छा, that's why you're saying that.
and even I had felt that because
जितना हमें लगा था उतना वो दिखा.
when I watched that shot,
Okay.
because my memory of that shot was also, by then I had felt like, अरे ये तो सबसे अच्छी चीज थी.
No, but that's
And
the
I-
magic.
But
Sometimes
mostly-
it all
वो पता
conspires
भी-
to happen.
Yeah, सब
And
चीजें एक साथ.
sometimes you can feel something so beautiful. And trust me, Mayank, as actors, I think we've all collectively experienced that as well, where you felt so much magic in a moment and you felt it like so intensely, and then you watch the narrative and you're like, but where did it go? But sometimes it just all falls into place.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.